What's up, guys? It's Matty here, coming at you with another retro deck profile. Today we're going to be looking at Long Dao's YCS Lil Mermail deck. This deck won the event, and it is most famous for playing 53 cards. So strap yourselves in. We're going to get right into this one. We have our boss monster, our 3 Megalo. This is, pitch 2 water monsters, add a sphere. Go for game, use its effect, part of the OTK with Diva. Next we have the newer additions with the recent release at Cosmo Blazer. We have our 3 Teus. People originally thought this card was bad because it was not a Sea Serpent, so you couldn't search it off Dragoons. But it turns out it was actually pretty good. I remember being at a Cosmo Blazer regional, and everyone was still playing the generic Undyne build without this card because they didn't think it was good. And then the last card is the 1 lead. We can use this to pick cards out of our opponent's hand and be big. It's kind of our first target off Sphere, or off Lind, I should say. We have our 3 Linds. This is our Sphere target. When 99% of the time it's destroyed, we can get another Mermail from our deck. We have 3 Pike to search out our level 3s, and it is odd that he chose to only play 1 gun, 53 cards, only 1 gun. Couldn't find room for Turge, couldn't find room for double gun. Next, we will get onto the Atlanteans and other engine cards. We have the 3 Dragoons for our searches. You can search out most of this deck, unfortunately, except for Teus, but you can get any of the other Atlanteans. You can get Megalo, you can get Diva, you can get Mulan. You can get one of your 3 marksmen to pop back row and to be a part of the Megalo OTK, and our double infantry to pop face-up cards. We have our Undyne engine. He chose to play the full Undyne engine of 3 Undyne and 2 Controller. I'm assuming because with 53 cards, you're less likely to draw this, and you can go get this off of Pike. And you can get Pike off of Lind and Sphere is searchable, so the whole deck is searchable, so you can get to this quickly before drawing this, and with 53 cards in the main deck, you're less likely to draw it. So we have our 3 Deep Sea Diva, our tuner and OTK enabler. If you guys don't know the OTK, essentially you summon Megalo and then summon this, and then this gets out Marksman, and then Megalo tributes the Diva, and then the 2 attacks from Megalo plus the Marksman getting Dragoons is 8,000. And because you have all the Atlanteans to just pick off your opponent's cards, you can kind of leave them in the empty field. And then the last monster is our 1 Delinquent Mulan. On to the spells here. We have our double Salvage to recycle a lot of our little Atlanteans. You can recycle Lind if you need to crash it and go get something. You can recycle late game double Diva, which is really cool because it lets you draw a card because you make 2 synchros if you really need to dig deeper for something. And we have our 1 Allure of Darkness, again, to draw more cards. And no Trags, but the Controllers, Undyne is a key part of the deck, so you're going to be using that. We have our 1 Mind Control, our 1 Pot of Avarice, because we play over 30 monsters, so this is very easily live. Some staple stuff with Dark Hole, Monster Reborn, and then because we never want to see Macrocosmos or D-Fissure, Heavy Storm, and 3 Mystical Space Typhoons. Now we'll get on to the traps here. We have our 3 Sphere. This is searchable off of Megalo, and this is kind of what we use to maintain field presence. It fortunately does lock you out of spells while it's on board, but it has some cool interactions with this deck, and this is actually a really interesting skill card because you can flip it, and if they max C while you flip it, you don't get land. You can go get straight for Pike, and you can still discard for cost off of Pike and get an Atlantean to trigger or your gun to trigger, and then they only go 1 for 1. Obviously, you wouldn't want gun in this situation, but yeah, you can kind of go with that. And we have our 1 Squall. 3 monsters. Essentially, what you wanted to do with this is get 2 level 7s and then make a rank 7, or 2 level 4s and make a rank 4. And then you get a Lind, let the Lind die. and then that allows you to dig deeper into your deck and get another monster on boards and maintain field presence. He did a lot of effect negation, which is kind of interesting. He played 3 Fiendish Chain and 2 breakthrough skill. This is kind of interesting in how this all sits together. There's a lot of effect negation. I guess this is an event where there was a lot of prophecy as well, so you can kind of stop Blue Boy with this, which is kind of the whole like crux of that deck. He kind of really needs Blue Boy. And then the last trap is double Torrential Tribute. A great interaction with Lind. No Dracosack, so no interaction with Dracosack tokens or anything like that, but good enough as it is. And then on to the extra deck here. Yes, that is the whole main deck, all 53 cards of it. We have the 1 Armory Arm and the 1 Librarian. This is your essential double draw combo, so if you have double Diva, or if you salvage for double Diva, you can go Diva into Infantry, Infantry effect, summon the other Diva, get a Marksman, sink 5 for this first, sink 4 for this, and then draw a card. It was actually a really interesting interaction I had at Locals one time. I was playing against Evil Swarms, and he had 50 life left, and he had Ophion, and I was going to Sphere. I was going to summon Diva, and then make Armory Arm, and then Sphere for a Pike to be 50 bigger, and he had Solemn Judgment, so my opponent won with 25 life points. That's the only time I've ever seen that happen. 1 Cataston, really good in the mirror, because you can kill Megalo and lead and things like that with this. 1 Dewloren. So this is kind of cool, because you can essentially, if they like Breakthrough Scale or Fiendish Chain your Diva or Veil it, you can flip Sphere, bring out Pike, sink 6 into this, and then use its effect to bounce the Sphere back to your hand, and you can essentially reuse it, and then you're not stuck with just a dead Diva on board. 1 Black Rose Dragon, and then the last Synchro monster, one of my favorites, 1 Gungnin. The fact that you can trigger your Atlanteans and gun off of this is awesome because it's a water monster. For the Seeds, we have 1 Zenmaines, which is pretty staple. Same thing in terms of discarding, but you can detach Marksman off of Leviathan Dragon, and it does trigger. So you're able to pop set cards with Leviathan Dragon by detaching Marksman. We have the Trite and Bahamut combo. Just essentially stall. This is 2800 defense, so you can just stall on it. And then this is 2600. So even if you want to, it says you can't attack for the rest of the turn, so you could bring out Bahamut Shark and attack with it, and then main 2, detach for Trite if you wanted to. If you felt like you could get 2600 off safely. Last rank 4 we have is the 1 Abyss Dweller, because it is a free win in the mirror. You want to make this as fast as possible. This is kind of what you want to do. In order to out it, really, you'd have to like Sphere for a Megalo or something, and then just beat over it, because it was 22 with a water monster. And then for 7s, we have 1 Big Eye and 1 Gaios. This is not the end of the extra deck. You notice it's only 13 cards. We have 1 Flame Ghost and 1 Darkfire Dragon. So in his side deck, he side decked 3 copies of Instant Fusion. The Flame Ghost is kind of unnecessary. No, I wouldn't say unnecessary. Kind of excessive, in my opinion. It's a little bit more win more. But the Darkfire Dragon, because we didn't have things like Norden, we didn't have any water vanilla level 4s. This was like the best you kind of really had access to. But this was to make Dweller in the mirror match, because it wasn't a 1-deck format, but it was basically a 1-deck format. So this was like the fastest way to make Dweller, which was your biggest out in the mirror, because you obviously couldn't sign like D-Fissure, Macro, or Soul Drain, because those hurt you. So we had Dweller to shut down our opponent. So in order to get to the Dweller, we instant fusioned into Darkfire Dragon. So we have some duels in the description, and we might have some more as we play, depending on when you watch it. There'll also be more deck profiles. Subscribe for more retro content, and thanks for watching, guys.